Good evening. Hello. Yeah. Tonight's streams and set up and ready to really odd. The worst before start stream I have ever had. Most bizarre. I'm not even sure if we'll just start. Right. Okay. Tonight is Solan. Solan. And I've just hit that with my heart. That is a wonderful start. So I'm going to go balls. Except for the goggles, which I'm going to need to put on as well. In my throat. Right. I'm going to sit over this way a little bit more. So Solan's going to be over here as I'm painting, so I can try and avoid hitting that thing. Because position and I can't seem to get it right and I don't understand. Yeah. So it's Solan tonight. Solan's a bit of a pain in the ass, I'm not going to lie. Because Solan is a Warlock and they're brightly coloured and multicoloured in lots of different ways. So I think I got all the paints out ready earlier. I managed to find as well an actual Agrax Earthshade. Not my homemade one, but I don't think that's my homemade one. No, that is not my homemade one. That is an actual Agrax Earthshade. So I've managed to find one, which is nice. No Nile. Now, purples, I've got essentially 3 shades because this thing is bright and colourful, and as I said, I'm not ready. I'm not shining, and I'm right. Hello. We'll start this again because I've just realised I've been backstage all down there because I was not ready. This has been the weirdest start to any stream I have ever done in my life before I even started with Go Live. I may get into that during the stream. I don't know. But we shall see. Anyway. Right. Yeah, as I was saying, we're doing Sloan. I've got 3 purples out and I've managed to find a Agrax Earthshade. Right. God, this is... Good evening, Ali. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, I've just realised. So, yeah. Pre-stream today has been, we'll say, different. Not sure how to fully process everything that I got essentially an hour and a half before the stream, up until about 2 minutes before the stream started. So it was obviously a long piece of information and something to thingy. So yeah, definitely the weirdest start. So we're doing Sloan, and he's got lots of purples and it's a Warlock. I did manage to find the Agrax Earthshade, but I'm going to need lots of other colours, which is why I've got blues, oranges, reds, ivories, greys, browns, and golds. Now I know normally you could just like take the red away, take the orange away, take the purples away, and add the metal, and that'll be pretty much the count done. Eyes, fur, leathery stuff, washes. But no, not Sloan. Not Sloan. No. He needs another 5 inking colours. And I don't know if I'm ready to do it tonight. But there's only one way you find out if you're ready to do something, and that's to try. So that's what we're going to do. I'm really annoying myself by hitting this camera every 5 frigging seconds. So I do apologise now. I may shout at it and move it. I may not. But yeah, I've moved over a little bit, so yeah, I might be a bit further over this way a little. I'll try and angle myself so he's under the camera more. But I don't like hitting that thing with these flappy bits. So Sparkles has just been wonderful. Brought me a cup of tea. And I've just hit it again. But we're happy because we have a cup of tea. And then we're going to mix that. And I've never got a brush in my hand or anything. No brushes out. Luckily, I know where they all are at the moment because I put them away cleverly right just behind my monitor. So they're really awkward to get out when you need them, and you can't just pluck one out when you want for ease, except for when you, yeah. I'm just going to show up and paint because it's just everything. Yeah, it's easy that way. I'm not sure where to start though. The reference picture, because we do have references for these ones, is a little odd about Solan. Let me just find it again. Which page number was it on? I can't remember. Can't remember. Oh, that's something as well. Yes, last night I went to a gig. Right, there we go. We've got Solan on the screen. Reds, purples. Yeah, actually, I don't need the... Do I need the leather brown? No, I don't need a leather brown. Okay, because that's what that one's for. Yeah. Right, yeah, that's the other thing. I went to a gig last night. I went to the 30th anniversary for Troublegum by a band called Therapy. And so that's why my voice might sound a little bit off, or eventually sound a little bit off as I go through this, because I did a lot of shouting and singing last night. So I'm going to start with all the purples. Please don't. Please, I'm trying to do this paint thing and just behave. Don't be a real cat. Just be a little plastic model just for tonight. I'll put you away in there and you'll be happy. Just don't start jumping about places. I know I'm talking to a plastic model, but some reason my brain's not fully able to stay on track, which is why I'm trying my best to... Thank you very much, Ali. But yes, thank you for coming as well. That is a good thing. Good evening, Francois. At least just give me some very good advice, which is to take a deep breath and sort myself out, because I'm getting all flustered. And the start of this stream, essentially the first 10 minutes, is just going to be me just not ready for it and hitting my head constantly on the camera. So you've joined just at the right moment. How are you doing? You okay? It's the Warlock tonight, so it's purples first. And at the moment, I've not even got any purple. I'm not going to put a single thing on my palette. I've dropped the model more often than not. So let's check if I've actually got enough water on my palette. Let's do the very basic, shall we? So I'm setting up to paint you. I've got your paint. Make sure your wet palette is wet, which is why I've got a little water squirty thing here. Yes, that looks to be wet enough. Just make sure, and any excess I'm going to tip into the water pot. Right, first colour is going to be purple on this lovely little Warlock cat. That's not going to jump out of my hands and try and go. Okay, that's a lot of water. Did I miss the... Yeah, I even missed the paper on that one. Tonight's stream's going to be absolutely hilarious for anyone who wants to see how not to do something. I've got a feeling. But we'll soldier on. Because sometimes, as I have found out in the past, you can have happy accidents. And as Ali rightly said, oh, for God's sake, say that again. Take a deep breath. Which is definitely a good idea right now. Oh, no, no, socks. No. How come? What was... What's the project, first of all? Probably the best question to ask straight off. Because it's never good to be postponed because of something that you thought you had in. I mean, drill bits, if you've already got some that'll do it, then you can kind of get through, but really I should be doing this under these. But if you've got to order new paints, that is. Did you know you had to? Was this a pre-known? Oh, sorry, my throat's actually starting to feel weird. Did you know that you'd have to order paints for this project, or did you think you already had them, Francois? Because to be quite honest, I should have postponed any other project until I'd got Agrax Earthshade instead of making my own, because that one didn't quite work as it's supposed to. The Agrax Earthshade would have worked absolutely perfectly. I'm hoping it does well over purples tonight, but that's why I've got the null Nile out. I intend to possibly water that down a little bit for the purple instead, if it's needed. But I'm putting a dark layer down first, just to make sure. Right, that's the almost all the easy dark layer. Okay, now we've got loads of tassels and creases. I'm going to need a different brush to do the creases. Oh, that sucks. Did you do the clever thing and actually take an inventory and go, actually, I should pick up some more of that and some more of that and some more of that while I'm at it? So you're at least getting extra paints in stock just to make sure you don't run out of things in the future. Or did you just order the one that you needed? In which case you may just be kicking yourself, and I'm sorry. I only thought of that because next time I order paints, I'm ordering more Agrax just to make sure, and no Lyle, because that one's right at the end, and I'm not 100% sure where the other one is. I've seen it today, but I'm not 100% sure now. Alright, onto the little tiny thin bits around it. I don't even think this brush is going to be small enough, you know. Okay, trying to focus on that line through these magnifying glasses and paint that thing has just made my eyes go out. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. And it's definitely a thing I've found out. Okay, doesn't do it every time, it just hurts like fucking hell. I can deal with that. I've probably swore so many times before the YouTube thing says I should be able to. If anyone wants to rewatch it and keep a clicker, go right ahead. It's like, right, you've got 15 minutes before you're allowed to swear. How many times do we actually do it? Oh, sweet. So someone's just going to pick some up. Right, can I actually... Where's the rest of the bloody things all like that? Are there any more? I probably shouldn't have put paint on my brush in case I've done them all. They're going to need a second going over anyway. Because I could barely get in there to do it. Yeah. I can clean that up in a minute. When I go over it with a lighter freaking purple. Right. Now we go for the lighter purple. You do have one of them. Do you have the drill bits? Do you have at least a set of drill bits that would suffice? Do you actually have enough to continue your project and you didn't realize it? Have a look. You might have more. That's how I ended up finding a pot of Agrax and a pot of Null Nile today. I actually looked properly. Because, yeah, you end up with a lot of stuff in these hobbies generally. In fact, I shall post a picture in the Discord of my desk once it's been organised because I dropped something down the back. Not my desk on top, I mean my desk underneath, where a good 50% of my entire model collection is stored. Pretty much every Space Marine, all my normal models are stored underneath my desk. So sometimes it can get a little messy under there, especially if I'm changing models around and which ones I'm doing and what I need to have available at such time, because I also have some of my not just modeling stuff under there, so things such as foam core, some of those foam sheets that are in smaller portions, as well as a few other things end up are stored under the desk because I have nowhere else to put, because all the other stuff is taken up under there, which is quite a lot of the scenery and the tables and the boards. This is a hobby that takes up quite a lot. If you're going to start Warhammer 40,000 particularly, not only is it going to take up a lot of space, it's going to take up a lot of your money as well. Don't get me wrong, if you go for this type of hobby and you go for the full crafting side, then it's going to cost money. But if you particularly choose to buy Warhammer 40,000, it's changing meta. If you're that type of player, can make it expensive. Or if you're a collector, even more so. At least I've only chose to collect one Space Marine chapter, which in itself is still 1,000 plus models. Now, I'm not sure if you count within that the crew for the vehicles. That is true, but buying 3 of everything costs loads. And if you're a collector, you'll like, for instance, I'm trying to build a chapter, so to a degree, because of the successor that I am, I'm kind of pointed in a certain direction on how to build that chapter. So even though the salamanders are a codex chapter, they have a slightly different layout of their structure. So they don't have the full 10 companies. They only have, I think it's 8. And the 8th ends up being the Scout Vanguard force. First still being the veterans. It just gives you 2 less to play about with, but you've still got the same number of models, which is 1,000. So I don't know if you actually count the crew. Yeah, so I don't know if you count the crews of the vehicles. If you do, that makes it even more expensive. Because if every Land Raider's got a Space Marine driving it, it means to buy one Space Marine, I've had to buy a Land Raider. That sucks. And is that the bottom path? Nope, not completely. But if I take your advice, Francois, then yeah, if you just buy 3 of everything. Well, no, because some things I want more than 3 of. Because if I want, I'm going to have to buy more than 3. Even if I buy 3 of everything that Space Marines do, I don't think I'll total 1,000 Marines. Yeah, you see, you need to find 5 Wraith. See, that's 2. Is that 2 boxes of Wraith? No, that's 1 more box of Wraith guards. 1 more, so that's 3 more things. Although I am considering buying my friend Zelda. I think he's not got Wraith Lord. I'm sorry, I don't think he's got a Wraith Knight. He might have a Wraith Lord. He's definitely got Wraith Guard, but I think he's got bikes and, the triumvirate thing that they had of the Aeonade. Is that how you say that one? The big swirly thing that that one, that is just so ridiculously difficult to paint. And anyone who can make a good job of that, and particularly paint those small crystals, well done to them. But you also get the one with the cat as well. Right, okay, this stream's already thrown me enough, and you've just shown up. No way. Right. How have you managed to... No, fair enough. Do you want to come up? Sorry, Paint Minis Live, thank you, by the way. Yeah, that was to you. Would you like to come up and have a talk? Is it Yanid? Right, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, I've never known how to pronounce that properly. It's something that's always... But the models look cool as hell, so yeah, if my friend's considering selling them, then if I can find room for them, then I might consider buying. Excellent. I shall send you a link via the personal Discord then. Copy that into the pasteboard and trying to remember actually how to do this. We go into there. And we look for this person. I think, yes. Yes, we look for this person. Now we paste the link to that person. And we tell them just to open it in. It's pretty straightforward to set up. Yeah, please do come up. However, while we do that, I should also check the reference picture out and make sure I'm doing this correctly, because it does help. Although I've done quite well on the lower half, I'm just going to have to see if I can replicate it on the upper half as well, if needed. And I'm looking at the hat, and that is not looking fun. Okay, so that's up. That's a whole lot of colour in a very small area. How am I going to define that without completely screwing up the model, which I believe I may already have done? Right, okay. So, re-looking again at the reference picture and having a look at the model, our little friend here, right, I'm going to point this out while I'm looking at it through the magnifiers, because this is going to be difficult. Okay, along here is not fur, there is a little hat, and there is also gold beading and jewels. Then there is some fur, and there is also fabric. That fabric is not necessarily the exact same shade of purple as this fabric. Just double checking. Yeah, just double checking. There is a very thin layer which comes around the back here, which is smoky transparent. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. Hopefully Paint Minis Live will have a clue if they can sort their setup. Good evening, Twisted. How are you doing? No, it's not. It's no problems at all, Twisted. There is no obligation for anyone to actually be here. If you turn up, though, I'm very grateful. Painkiller naps. Oh, no. Well, at least you get to have a nap out of it. There is an upside. The fact that you had to take the painkillers in the first place is not. Feeling in the need of sugar and a deep breath, so I'm going to have to concentrate as well. Now, the tassels have not been clear about what. They're gold. Of course they're gold. Of course they're all gold. Now, where's that pouch? That's mauve, and then if I have a hernia or a brain stroke live on camera, let it be known, this model was not my choice. Cool. So you're doing the Ghostworld themed Eldar. So that's lots of suits, lots and lots of, yeah. Oh, that's nice. I've got a feeling with what I'm going to end up with for my what would be Eldar collection. If I was to get my friends, I would have a very fast base. I'd have a lot of bikes because of what you get with the Conquest magazine. I think you get 6, and I think he's got 6 as well. So I'd end up with 12 bikes and at least 10 Wraith Guard or small Wraith constructs. So it would be particularly quick. Not sure. I know he's got a unit of 5 Death Reapers, and haha, May I introduce you the first time ever on my channel, Bill from Paint Me His Life. How you doing, Bill? Nice to actually speak to you and meet you. You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Say you catching any feedback here? This is the first time I'm kind of doing a guest thing with my new setup here.
Uh,
Are
I'm not getting feedback at all. No,
okay, good.
you've done the wonderful thing. You've thought ahead. You've put earphones on, so the noise cancelling is.
Okay.
Um, there's usually only feedback if you think this monitor's capable and powerful enough to not pick itself up. It's like, yeah, too much confidence in monitors. Put a pair of headphones on. It works a lot easier. The mic doesn't get them. But
Well,
yeah,
funny enough to your audience, this is the first time we're actually speaking to each other too. What do you know, Les?
I know. This is a very odd thing. I was explaining tonight. This is probably my most odd stream I have ever done, just for the
Mm.
sheer sake of when I started, and now this model's giving me a brain hernia. And I'm speaking to you for the first time, which is obviously, please check out Bill's channel, Paint Minis Live. We have a certain similar acronym if you look at it. But yeah, please check him out. He's a little bit later than me. If you're looking from the UK, he's looking at about 1, 2 in the morning is when Bill would be going live. And then yeah, if you can't sleep and you're thinking, oh shit, Lars isn't on, go check Bill out. Uh, it's the
And
best
vice
plug I can
versa.
do, mate.
If
Yeah,
PML ain't running, Laz is on the other side of the pond.
yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I always hear just talking complete shite to myself usually until somebody says, "Yeah, I'll come up and give you someone to talk to because you look like you're dying." Uh, so
I hear that. I hear that.
that's pretty much how I run my streams. How do you do yours?
Uh, Way over the top, overly complex, is kind of the way I run it. I don't know. When I first started off, I called the what I call the creation cave now. I called it the ballin' on a budget studio because literally everything, like almost everything in here was either hand me down or like free on the side of the road or like literally dug out of a dumpster.
I,
Like I found
I,
I got a working mini fridge out of that. Like, but the tech part of it was mainly just balancing credit and like stuff like that. But you know, it's it's kind of been a modular thing. So I got at first I got like a couple of webcams and started off that way, and then I ended up with like a sound mixing board because I wanted to get some like music and stuff in here. And then now we've got like the big old camera. I think you can see, yeah, this guy. Um,
I can bring
that
you
we've
up big
got
if you
for
wanted
the
to. If you want to show something, that's fine. I'll just change you over. I'm so
Ye-
low tech. I've got to use little stuff like this, so it's easy to make someone else big. You're complaining about that camera. Okay, let me just do
I'm
something.
not
He's
complaining about it.
complaining about
I'm
this
not
camera here.
complaining.
Right, let me just show you. Right, you remember Steve and Lily, yeah? And
Yeah,
they're sat on my camera. That's hello. That's this one.
there you go.
There,
Well, I mean, it
and
looks good, man. You can check out. You've got the wide angle lens on there, so you can see all the goodies.
in fairness, I'm not complaining about this camera. This camera was completely free and was given to me as a gift from a viewer, Beaky Buzzard. Came and delivered this camera, this microphone, which is absolutely outstanding.
The
It's
Yeti
a
Blue,
yeah.
nice.
As a complete, here you go, mate. Have that. It's like, oh, thank you so much. And the swivel arm that my monitor itself is on.
Isn't it?
Complete gifts from a viewer and and a friend now, and yeah, it's like
Yeah.
so fantastic.
Isn't it funny how you start doing this stuff and like all of a sudden people come out of the woodwork and they're like, "Yeah, I this is what I like listening to when I'm doing X, Y, or Z, and I just want you to succeed. I want you to keep doing this. Like, here's the stuff to do it. Just do it. Like, I just want to
Uh,
watch it. Isn't it funny how that happens?
it's absolutely amazing. It is because obviously you've got your own little community as well that you've built up around you, as well as people who come in and
I didn't
speak
build
on
it.
mind.
The
Ah,
bricks started walking themselves in, literally.
Ah,
And I'm sure we'll probably get to that a little bit how PML got its first kick. But yeah, it's um, the the bricks just kind of came in and started building themselves. To be honest, that was kind of
uh,
nuts.
so it just took form in itself, and basically just went right. I'm painting, and this thing it just built up around you, and it was like, oh, wait a
I
minute.
didn't know what to do with it. I
I'm
really
not
did.
just painting anymore.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
uh,
What are you working on, Laz?
this is the final, actually, the last one of the set. It's Cats and Catacombs. It's a kind of a little thing written in 5e Dungeons and Dragons. So you get to play as cats. So
Oh,
they've done little miniatures for most of the. Well, while I'm waiting for this purple to dry, seeing as are reasonably to hand, at least the set that I'm doing. So the one I'm doing tonight is the Warlock, which is Solan.
mm.
Um, so previously I've done the Bard, the Paladin, the which one is this
I
one?
was wondering why I was seeing so many cats come through the Paint Minis
Um,
Live Discord, and I was like, man, these cats are cool. Like, where's he get these
um,
sculpts from?
this one is the Druid. I can't remember the name. Yeah, but this one's the Druid. We also have the Fighter, who's sat on a set. These are so tiny, dude. These like 1 centimeter by 2 centimeters. They're just ridiculous. So even getting them out of here without knocking or disturbing one of the others, or even snapping, in this case, his little dagger off. So you get the fighter who's sat in a little set of books with his
Oh, cool.
little ball of fur just underneath, and that little poaching on his side there.
Oh, cool.
Obviously scabbard for the dagger just behind him, and that's why I've got the magnifying goggles for this. Don't need magnifying goggles for a space marine. No, do you buggery? But yeah, these things are absolutely minuscule. But because it is an expansion written for 5e, there is a little thing that goes with it. So I have it up
My
as
this is
as another little tab.
I have this big old magnifying clippy thing that goes on my desk. Like, I know people are like, "Oh, you're so young. How are you doing this with your eyes or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, I still need you need a magnifying glass at some point. Like,
It, you
it just
do, you
gets
do.
too much. Gets
I
to
mean,
be too
and
much."
finally, there's the monk, which does have a
Nice.
small little gold shield on the back of each arm,
Oh, cool.
as well as a little ball of fur and wrapped around his wraps. And but yes, that's this set, and I've done there's 6 more up there which finish out the rest of the classes. So you've got the rogue, the wizard. Um, I shan't go through all of them. So yeah, the rogue, the wizard, the cleric, the sorcerer. Oh, sorry, the ranger, the rogue, and the barbarian. So you've pretty much got all the classes covered, and you play as cats.
That
All
is
by
so
the
cool.
all by the loving grace of my partner, my lovely Sparkles, when she decides to talk in chat.
Aw.
Yes, if you've for anyone who's seen the first episodes or some of them, you've heard this story before. But I was in the garden doing gardening. I heard the word sorry from inside the house. I came in to find out why, to find the first box of them on my desk, and my missus running upstairs because she didn't realize how small they were when she ordered the first set. I, however, did realize when I agreed to do the second set. So this one's on me. Giving myself a brain aneurysm is
So is
on me.
is it for her then, or is it for you? It sounded like it was a
Oh,
gift to begin with, and then what?
no, this was completely for her. She said, "Oh, I've seen these cats. If I get them,
Oh,
will you paint them?" And I went, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." She went,
gotta
Nothing wrong
love
with that."
it.
And they
Gotta
turned
love
out
it.
to be so minuscule. I mean, they are the smallest models I've had to paint. Imagine somebody giving you a Gretchen and saying, "Right, he's in chainmail, but every single ring has got to be a different shade of fucking silver." It's like, what?
Right?
No, no,
Right?
you taking the piss. I mean, I know he's got a cloak on and that, but you're taking the piss, aren't you? And it's like, no, 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 I'm being serious. Every single ring has got to be a slightly different shape. You can put some golds or some brasses in there, but every single ring. It's like,
Yeah, right.
right, okay, I'll do it, and do it. And yeah, I mean, this one, just for
Well,
this
hey,
class.
the best projects are the ones that are for friends and family, in my opinion. I'd rather fill
Uh,
my my paint desk with stuff from friends and family uh, than I would with commission pieces. As much as I love doing commissions, don't get me wrong, like commissions are great, but because they'll play with it and they'll use them. Like it's not just going to be a display piece, and at least a lot of the pieces that I do and like
oh, wait a
come
minute.
across,
Oh,
they're all sorry.
no, go on, carry on.
Uh, but
I shall tell you about this.
most of the
Go on.
pieces, they're that I come across, people play with them, and that's like the best part. Like my worst fear is that I'm gonna paint something up and somebody's just gonna stick it on a shelf and it's gonna sit there and never, really see the light of the tabletop or that kind of thing.
Just to let you know, when I say these are Dungeons and Dragons characters, I'm also my partner's forever DM.
Mm.
So the only time she's ever going to get to play these is I'm going to have to build a world and play. I'm going to have to learn all the rules for all these cats. I'm going to have to learn how this complete expansion works. I'm going to have to make the story for this thing because it is not an actual sanction. It's not a story. It's just this is how to play as these cats.
Okay.
Okay. So I've got to make everything go around it. And these cats are still just cats. So therefore, a human can still do what it can do. Right, okay, so how do I power scale this? Because if a cat runs up and sinks its claws into a human can snap its neck. A standard human can just snap its neck if it really wanted to, very easily.
Sure.
So I've got a power scale this now. Right. These are just going to sit on the shelf for quite a while, aren't they? This itself has become a project. I've been doing basically. I've narrowed it all down. And thought, fuck it, it's all going. It's in a church. All of it. It's an abandoned church because that's where these awakened cats have taken over. So it's now turned into a scratch build church project as well, which is now 18 inches long and about 8 inches high and about what a foot deep.
Okay.
That I've only just managed to get the skeletal structure somewhat stable for because I've also never done a scratch build at that scale before. I mean, this thing is frigging huge and only just at this moment fits on my desk because the skeletal structure fits round my boom arm from my camera.
Okay.
As soon as
The,
I
the
put a
church.
roof on
You're
that
talking
thing,
about this church, right? Yeah.
yeah, as soon as
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
put a roof on that thing, it no longer fits on my desk under the camera.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. The
So
the cinematography of this hobby is really hard. It's really, really hard.
it really is sometimes.
Either nothing
Um,
fits or you're painting outside the camera window or the
yeah,
shot
see, thank you for
or
that,
it's
thank
out
you
of
for that.
focus because it's too close or too far away. And then you're trying to find that sweet spot and it takes you like a minute.
See, that
Uh
doesn't overly bother me too much because good night, Kirsty. Sorry, because this is the first time we are actually meeting. You're actually seeing a genuine meet and talk for the first time. This is two strangers having a complete conversation.
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sorry if we're not paying quite as much attention to the chat because I'm crap at it.
Well, I've been watching like Twisted. I think Twisted Nerves painting a while back was like, yeah, the bricks are just hitting him. He's getting hit with the bricks instead of them all coming together. And I
Yeah,
know that
essentially.
feeling too. I know that
Yep.
feeling too. They just it'll come at you. It's
Oh
so
yeah.
everybody's experience on here is totally different when it comes to like how to interact with folks or just like managing it. I guess for lack of a better term, because it's not like the
Um,
folks that we're afraid of. It's just trying to manage it all, stay consistent, blah blah blah. It's all that YouTube shenanigans.
to be quite honest, using this platform that I use because it is essentially I use it as a form of therapy as well. Believe it or not, believe that or not, this is actually I'm not
Oh
doing this
yeah.
for YouTube. I'm doing this for therapy.
There
So,
you go. I love it.
yay. That
Yeah.
makes this all the more fun. Actually, I do enjoy it. You just happen to join on one where the model is particularly difficult.
Mm,
This one will go over the 2 hours. So what
okay.
I will do is I will for the viewers I will once it goes at the 2 hours I'll stop it. I'll also stop painting. However, because as I said, this is the first time we're talking, I won't be restarting a second one immediately. So this will
Mm,
be the start of Solan, and I will continue him tomorrow. I'm going to try and at least get the purples, and yeah, the three purples that this small model requires before I start looking at reds, golds, ivories, greys, and washes. So it takes less pressure on me to finish the model, which is one thing I have done with every one of these so far. Is I've finished it within the 2 hour time frame. I've tried to do that with each one, and it has been difficult. I've got to tell you, man. I don't know if
trying
you've
to
ever set yourself personal challenges on
trying to
models.
tackle one of those in 2.5 hours is what
No,
is your
no,
goal?
2 hours.
Two
You
hours.
you've got to get it done in
Yeah.
2 hours.
Really?
Yeah, that's the limit on. See the program that I'm using at the moment to stream this.
Oh, I don't see the timer anywhere, but I see the
It is obviously it is up for me because I'm running the stream, but because I've got end broadcast, it's got a little
oh,
timer that's ticking up, and once it gets to about 10 minutes left, it'll give me a little pop up message going, "Yeah,
okay.
hurry up and wrap it up. You've only got 10 minutes."
There
So
you go.
it'll be very nice and prompt me and tell me, but it won't actually end the stream for me. It'll just end the stream for everybody on YouTube, and it'll just continue playing for me,
Okay.
which isn't that good. It should actually just end it, but I don't pay, so I can't complain too much. So how have your projects been going recently?
Um my projects have been they've been good. I'm finally kind of getting back into the swing of painting. I was basically radio silent for about 8 months working on the Paint Minis Live online hobby shop. And part of the reason why I started building that was because of all those bricks. There was such a huge outpouring, I guess, from the community when I first started. Um, it was a couple of streams in. I was doing a lot of like 40K stuff. It really wasn't picking anybody up. And then I had been watching a guy named Bill Sylvie, the Dungeon Delver, who he does a lot of like he talks about a lot of old school RPG stuff, and he has like a lot of old school models. And I was like, man, those are really cool. I'd love to paint something for you. Can I buy something and send it to you? And he was like, no, no, I got a better idea. Let's have the community vote on some of these old models I have. Let's see which one they pick for me to send you, and then go ahead and paint it up. So they voted, and they ended up picking a Grenadier Red Dragon from like one of the oldest sculpts that were kind of for D&D. And it was this 2 pound cast pewter dragon. My wrist was so
Oh dear gosh.
bent after painting that thing because for me I focus less on the brush hand, more on moving the model to to make sure that I get good brush strokes.
So
uh
you're doing that all the time as
yeah, I'm
opposed
moving it
to
around a lot, and my wrist was just destroyed for a while after that one, but it turned out really really great. And so a lot of the people that saw that started jumping on the bandwagon, and that just brought in more people who were talking about Dungeons and Dragons stuff, or just like modeling in general. And they started sharing those things with their, sharing PML with their community. Just not even, I didn't even ask them. They just started, in talking about it. And so at that point, I knew that this was one of those it takes a village moments. And I
yep.
was like, man, now that, things are starting to grow, because I'm not even a really big channel. I've got, you know, uh, I think I'm just now nearing about 200 folks who are tuning in for PML. And I was thinking to myself, man, there's so many people who are embracing this for their own reasons, and out of generosity, that I got to do something big for them. And so I went to, I registered PML as a business. I got a hobby shop going, and I made them all affiliates. So now they get a percentage of the sales that come out of the hobby shop because they help me really get into this. Like I would not be streaming and painting the streaming stuff um, just just on my own accord. Like don't get me wrong, I like to come to the painting desk, like you said, kind of for therapy. Like you come down
Yeah.
here, you get a creative outlet that's visual and instant, and you kind of bring your imagination to life with your paintbrush. But these folks really kind of adopted me and showed my art to the world in a way that I hadn't expected. I wasn't prepared for, and like that was really cool. And you know, uh, just like you, Laz, coming into the PML Discord and like showing off your models in the Discord and stuff. Every time I see somebody new in there, I'm like, this is great. This is a place where people come, just like Twisted Nerves painting or Rabbit Hole Library or Francois. These people are coming in to cherish community and something that's outside of just the normal worries of day to day life. And I think that's something that maybe there's somebody out there that really kind of needs that in their life, and this is a gateway for them to come into a safe place to experience that.
Right. I just want to clarify for people. He's just said this is a completely safe space. Bear in mind, everyone who watches me, I'm on screen. This is not a completely safe space. I do invite people up that say shit that will piss you off and you may not agree with. The total opinion of it, if you don't want to watch it, then fuck off. If you agree with it, you can stay and listen. If you don't agree with it and you want to have your panties fucked about, then go away. So just to correct you there, I in the most fucking hell, this stream is weird, isn't it? This stream has been
Well, I
right.
mean, it's a safe space, meaning I don't think anybody in your community is going to sit there and pick on somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we all have our
Uh,
own our own opinions on whether a fireball should be 15 feet or 75, or what shade of purple from what brand is the best. But at the end of the day, we're not gonna sit here and pick on each other, right?
Lord, please protect this little prick as he learns the ways of the Englishman. He does not know what he says. He will learn. He will learn. That people are knobheads, especially the guy who's up behind the camera, the guests he invites up, and sometimes even the people in his chat. He has moderators that tell them, look, behave yourselves, you're supposed to be fucking grown-ups. That's why they're there with the blue spanner. They'll boot your ass if you're not. It's very simple. They will not put it bluntly. Well, they won't put it nicely, they will put it bluntly. And they will quite literally tell you where to shove it. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
uh, I do have also other fellow Americans of yours that will come up, and yes, this is a place where you can bit of a we don't have it. It's just as long as you understood the word that look, everyone's a dickhead, everyone's a knobhead. Just behave yourself because you know it. Then we're all right. But swearing, most things, joke about pretty much anything.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I have guests up who have had what would be classified on bigger channels as I'm getting kicked right now. Thank you very much. As they go, I've had panel members up that have took conversations completely into the right field, smashed away through the fence, knocked down the Amazon, declared the LGBTQ people Nazis, and done all sorts of stuff. So yeah, the word safe space is not something that's generally considered. It's
Okay.
just we're friendly
Okay.
people. We are friendly people, but we also joke and we're very odd. Let's put it that way. And
Well, who
it's come
isn't?
out.
Who isn't?
It's essentially where everyone's sat behind the desk for Christ's sake. Of course, we're safe. Unless you're sat in the middle of the road, then you understand you're not in a safe space. But you sat behind the desk. Grow up. Come on, we're adults. And now we're doing, and now we're painting some little tiny models.
Right, right.
That's how it. As I said, this is literally therapy for me.
I have to tell
But the
older
models are
folks.
secondary.
I have to tell older folks. They're like, what do you do? And I obviously have a day job. I tell them that first, and then I'm like, but my big hobby is painting models. And they're like, oh, you do like aircraft or like ships or something? And I'm like,
It's
no,
like
no, think. And
no.
and the only way I can get them to wrap their head around it is I'm like, I paint green army men, and they're like, oh, okay,
Yes,
okay, that's
essentially, I
it's a
paint
little
miniature
weird, but okay,
soldiers. I paint
okay.
miniature soldiers. Well, it's a little bit more difficult than that, but it's all you can get your head around. Yeah, I've had
All
that
right.
conversation so many times. It's just like,
Mm-hmm.
literally, I've had that conversation with my therapist. Um, hence, um, but yeah, and trying just to explain it to them. And bless my therapist, their heart is in the right place, but they're very hard. They can't see very well. They're very hard of sight. They have to use a magnifying glass just to read. I mean, they've
Oh,
like
okay.
right up, and they've got so they are very short, very very bad sight. So
Right.
even showing her a picture on my phone is like, yeah, you don't, yeah, I paint little, so I paint soldiers.
Right. Yeah. Right. Right.
um, so it's probably the best way we could ever explain it to any outsider. Can I say that word?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. And I would wholeheartedly agree. I'm just happy that I'm not the only one with a messy paint desk. Can
This is
I
my
tell
just
you
what
that? I
uh, this is my paint and PC desk.
I
So when
love
I
it.
move all them back and my keyboard comes in, that is my mouse, and I'm WASD da 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 shoot shoot ba, 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 ba. And then the keyboard goes over there and the paints come out down here, and then I paint.
Do the thing. Do the thing. Got it.
Yeah, yeah. I have to shoot around the boom arm for my light.
Hey, I just
Well, I
gotta
have to
say,
move around like.
twisted nerves. Keep on painting. Keep on painting out there. Keep doing it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
Do it.
good stuff. And
It is.
yeah, that's a great reason to paint. So definitely keep at it. Definitely keep at it. Yeah,
Francois,
just
that's only if you're a socialist and a nationalist. You've got to be both to qualify for that one, I'm afraid.
um
As I said, we will joke.
right. So on my painting desk currently we have the last fingers of some um American rye whiskey.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
oh, we lost the signal. There, we've got all of the Wolfenstein models that I'm currently painting up.
Yes,
Uh,
those look
a whole
particularly nice,
a
by the way.
whole bunch of paints. My phone, and then it keeps going, and you don't know what exactly is what, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's like it's the wreck of the Hesperus over here. But I love it. I know exactly where everything is. You could, if Miss PML came down here and cleaned this up, I'd be raging. I would know where nothing is. But
I can guarantee if she moves that large brush even to just the other end of the brush pile, you'll know.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, I won't know where it is, but I'll know it's gone for
Yeah, it's
sure.
like, where did I put
I've
it?
got,
It's,
you
it's
know,
only 2 inches away.
like over here, I had my this prison shank for cleaning my airbrush. No, literally, look at that. That is a
Oh,
bona
yeah.
fide prison shank right there,
Not
friends.
quite. I've had to homemade that one.
Oh, you did.
I homemade that one.
um,
That is essentially taking one of those handly grip things, cutting a hacksaw blade in half, and jamming it in there and tying it around it. That is how you make a
yeah,
shift, ladies and gentlemen. You don't buy
there
something
you
pre-built.
go. All
You
right.
make it yourself. You go full prison rules. Um,
I mean, exacto's like halfway there.
yeah, it
The big old
is. I mean,
handle.
how
They're
dangerous to
on their
just
way,
paint? How dangerous is a painting desk? How many knives and
right?
plates you actually need to paint? I
Well,
didn't
I mean,
realize how many.
look at the even I'm not sure. I don't think I've seen you. Do you do airbrushing at all?
I do have an airbrush. At the moment, I only use it for um, base coating. At the moment, I have tried
Sure.
briefly to try out to see if I can
Well, I mean,
get it with some accuracy, but I need to get a sheet of paper out and get my consistencies right and do a lot of good practice before I sit down and try and do a model.
yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, to be
that's
honest, just get a model that you're not happy with the paint scheme, and just like go at it, and then grab yourself some simple green or whatever the UK equivalent is, and dunk that bad boy for a day.
Oh, like
Yeah,
biostrips. I believe. I think
sure,
you can get that over there as well. I think you can anyway. I think that's how I found out about it in the first place.
it
But yeah,
might.
I'll dump a load of orcs in there, and I'll dump a load of space marines because they're even easier when you're airbrushing. And give them a practice because I do have a lot of firstborn, which have just been dumped all in legends. Thank you very much. Or at
Nice.
least have to be, or at least have to be recommissioned into assault jump intercessors as opposed to an assault squad. So
Gotcha.
I've got to put them on little bigger bases now and put them on tactical rocks.
The tactical rock. Good lord. When will they move away
Yes.
from the tactical rock?
Well, I'm gonna. They're forcing me to make my own tactical rocks. They're even infiltrating my scratch build set. It's just infecting everything.
Mm,
Moving away from to D&D is actually cathartic and just and well, I say it's cathartic. It's just as bloody corrupt and bad, but it's not 40k, so it's change.
sure, sure.
Because well, you're telling me Wizards of the Coast are not as corrupt as Games Workshop?
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. No, no, it's no. They're both of them
As
are laying in the same bed of filth,
aren't they
as
just? I
far
mean,
as
I
I'm
love
good. you
what
know,
they
you
what
know
the
who
original
isn't?
creation was
You know
brilliant.
who?
But
You,
go on.
you know who isn't laying in a bed of filth, and yet I absolutely love them for it. Is these fucking guys at Mantic Games? Look at that Halo Flashpoint thing. I just got this box. I haven't even unwrapped it, dude. Mantic.
Ooh.
Mantic, you see that right? That logo right there. Oh, wrong. I
Well, yeah,
forgot
the other
that
way,
I
yeah,
mirrored
that way,
my
yeah.
camera. This one, yeah, yeah. That Mantic logo right there. These guys, I called them out on on their own stream at. Well, they were over at the Army Painter,
Oh,
doing some stuff. I called them out on stream because I had tried to contact them because I was like, I want to partner with Mantic. They produce really good stuff,
they
and
do.
and
It's some
literally they sorted
excellent
me
stuff.
out live on stream in front of like 700 people. They had me
Well,
sorted and in contact with the
in
right people
fair,
in about 10 minutes.
in
If
fairness,
that
that
doesn't
means
show
somebody's
you,
doing it right.
yeah, if that doesn't show you that somebody's doing it right, I don't know what will.
Because if you're that type of company, and if you're a company that's looking to get out there, look, us painters just love to paint. Send us shit, and we'll give you glowing reports. Blow us off and just don't respond to us. We're gonna slag you off the fuck.
Hey,
Is how the
LMP,
world works. You know this.
can I get
Sorry.
the full screen?
Yeah, sure you can.
Um, so you were talking about like what it would we'll send you
Oh,
stuff, and you'll give us what do you want?
I've never used any
what do you
protocol.
what
I
do you
don't have
want?
protocol.
What do you want?
Yeah, I'll take that rack.
Send me a Discord, a DM. We'll get you set up with some good
Essentially,
stuff. Some of that good
speaking
American made stuff, all made in Arizona by a woman owned business. I talked to the
really,
owner, yeah, of
see,
Monument Hobbies.
I
She
have
is cool. She's cool.
see, obviously being a painter, and I watch YouTube videos just like everyone else, just like all of you that are watching this. I'm guessing we both watch other painters and other channels similar to our own, funnily enough, but probably
Oh
better
yeah.
produced than mine. Um, so we hear about these reviews that you all hear about, and so that's why we go out and buy these separate paints. This is why I, rather than buying the free ones that I get with a magazine, I've gone out and I buy War Painter, and I've got
Oh,
two coats down there.
throw yourself on the
So,
big screen.
oh, sorry, man.
You're
Well,
like pointing. I'm like, I can't
I
even see what color.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So I mean, that's why we go out and buy other brands of paint so we can try them, so we can give you the
yeah.
ideas. So you're going out and not getting the ones that are all chalky and waxy, and you can get the better finish. If you're a provider of this crap, who better to give it to than people that bloody use it and tell people about it? It's just basic
Yeah.
101 salesmanship. The problem is it's so saturated. The market is so ridiculously saturated
Yeah, that's
that
true.
them as the larger businesses get to choose,
Yeah.
and the smaller businesses have to do what everyone else has to do. I
Do
don't have any of those worries.
you want to hear what I call the game store mafia? And it's not a theory. This is actual fact. Do
Go
you want
ahead.
to hear just a quick look? How much time do we got? Do you like? I know we said
We
we were.
have well, it's a 2 hour time limit, and we're just over
Okay. All right.
105.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
we've got
All
loads
right.
of time.
Cool. So the game store mafia, in at least in here in the U.S., when I was doing research and trying to get the hobby shop off the ground, I started calling businesses, and these were regional and national supplier of game supplies. I'm not going to name names except for
Yeah,
the
no,
friends
the
that have
big
helped me out, but
right.
I there's a lot of suppliers out there. The only problem is that they like, and I definitely feel for the family owned game shop out there that has taken the hit during COVID, and I've always stated when I've talked about the online hobby shop is that this shouldn't be your like replacement for your family run brick and mortar game store. You should definitely give some money to them so that they can go to college, play D&D, and drink like a dwarf for 4 years. That's kind of the thing. But
Yeah,
um, uh, the kind of culture that was there was that they thought they were going to lose their entire book of business. So when I came in as somebody trying to start a new business that was totally online, it was a for like there are places that have an online element that are brick and mortar stores, but they don't allow online presences very
really,
much at all. Yeah, it was nuts.
really.
I called like six different major suppliers, some and like a handful of smaller suppliers. So about 10 to 12 companies I called. Some of them I got an answering machine, and I mean I would call and call, and it wasn't like I was doing it over and over again, but like, every week I'd be calling these people. Do you have openings? Do you, are you accepting online yet? And they would keep giving me the same thing. Check back in 6 months. Check back in 6 months.
So just
And
gaslighting you all the way through.
yeah, yeah. And so finally, I ended up calling one company, and I called. I just went to their employee directory, and I started dialing random extensions until I got one that worked. And I got this guy. He was a sales rep in the Texas area, so totally
nice.
not where I'm from. I'm from Minnesota, which is all the way in the north part of
Yeah.
America. It's
So
right under Canada. We are the rednecks of Canada.
let's
Um,
compare. So you're east of Maryland.
uh, yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Cool. Right. We have a
Uh,
better frame of reference that way.
yeah,
Awesome.
yep. I'm 14 hours to the east of Dungeon Minister and his neck of the woods in Canada, so not too far. But
Oh,
I'm from the
you
border.
say
It's
how
six
far
eight
did you
hours. It
say?
was 14-hour drive to get to.
Right. You do realize if I drive for even consider driving for that long, I'm going to drown. And you're saying
Well, I
that's
mean,
not far?
aren't you on an island, right? You're in the UK, right?
I'm in the UK. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
everyone else
yeah,
who's cut off. It's not my fault.
yeah. Oh, well, I mean, you're on the island, so for you,
Well,
it's like what,
you call
six
it
hours max,
you call it an
end to
island.
end.
We call it the center of the world, which is why there's a direct line through it. It's great. But yes, essentially, if we go, and we can't go very far without hitting water. You're never really more than 50 or 60 miles away from a coastline, no
I
matter
will
where you
admit,
are.
I will admit, as much as I think that cookies should be called cookies, I think biscuit is a better describer, and that's the only thing I will agree on
Well, no,
culturally for now.
no. The, cookies and biscuits are two different things. Cookies are generally softer, and they bend and they're gooey and they're lovely and they're delicious. But biscuits have a and you can break them, and they're two different things.
But nobody around here makes them that way. They always make them the super breakable, crunchy ones. I don't know
Well,
why. But
that's
anywho, yeah. So I called around to all these companies, just trying to get in. This sales guy, I told him, I was like, "Hey, listen, you're a salesman. You go out to people who are starting game shops. I get it that they're like doing brick and mortar, and they're doing these things. But just think of it this way, if you're the sales guy, if you were going to go out and start a business and you didn't have the money for rent on a space, what would you do? And he was, and we kind of chatted about it, and we came to the conclusion we'd start online because you can do that for the smallest amount of
Next to
money. And I
nothing.
was like,
Yeah.
all I'm asking for is a lane to get in here. I'm not asking for your best price on stuff to like get in the game. I'm just asking to can I have a source
Yeah.
for it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
Just put me up. Just put me on the buying list. At least
yeah, yeah.
give me something.
So we got to talking even further, and so apparently, not only do these games restrict, Games Workshop, for example, you have to buy a
Oh,
ton of
ridiculous!
stock. You have to. I mean,
Wow.
literally, it's like I would be buying a car. Uh,
So they leash you into a set amount of product before you even
yeah,
right at
yep,
the start.
and
You see,
and and
and
and
that's
it
why I
has to be. It has to be you have to buy a certain amount of models, and then you can buy the paint, and then you buy a certain amount of paint, and then you can get the tools. I mean, it's nuts. It's a huge amount of money that you have to spend to get into the door with G Dubs.
and that's why I wish to support other people. Like, for instance, another friend of the channel, which is Graham. People who have watched me before will recognize Graham. He has his own virgining model business online.
Oh
Basically,
no
similar
way!
to
Is he producing his own stuff?
he has licenses for production, and he has some very nice sculpts.
No
For,
way.
for instance, the only dreadnought I'm missing for the set of three new ones is the close combat one with two claws.
Sure, sure.
And at the moment, my Space Marine chapter that I'm building are the stone dragons. I'm changing that to stone bears because of one model that I have seen on his website that will represent a dreadnought.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I have near enough 400 and something Space Marine models at the moment. I
You
am
got
looking to
a you
buy
got a
one
pile.
model. I'm looking to
Yeah.
buy one model and change the entire name of my chapter. It's this thing I've been collecting for 25 years.
Nice.
I'm intending to purchase it from him and change the entire name because it represents the close combat dreadnought, and it's just a huge fucking bear with guns on the back. And it's like,
Nice.
oh, that is so good. I want that model. It's like,
That is sweet.
but I'm called the Stone Dragon. I'm called the Stone Dragons. I can't have a big bear. That'll make more like Space Wolves. But yeah, you can just call yourself the Stone Bear. The Stone Bears, and you can still be salamanders, and you can just have a big fucking bear in your army. It'll be awesome.
Well, what
And
about like you could call them the granite claws or something like that?
no, because
No. All right.
the intentional play on it was it's only 1D. So
Ah.
it's either stoned dragons
Mm,
or stone dragons. So that
okay.
was the initial play on it because, well, we do have a lot of advocates for cannabis on this channel as well. So
Sure.
being stoned is not something that is unfamiliar for, well,
Gotcha.
a lot of people because it helps. There are people, um, MS pains can be helped with cannabis. I understand that. So, and I watch Dave from MS Paints, and although he doesn't,
You're among
he's
friends.
aware of that are doing it. My own condition, it can help
Yeah,
in
yeah, no,
some ways. It
I
doesn't help in others.
we just legalized stuff recreationally here in my state, and I couldn't be happier. Even though I don't necessarily partake in those things because I'm doing the firefighting. I'm working
Oh
on
yeah,
becoming a
by all means.
firefighter, and
Yeah, then
I
don't.
still can't. Yeah, that I don't think firefighting and that really mix, but
No.
I'm still I personally I don't mind that if if folks do that in the pleasure of their spaces, it's all good to me.
Well,
I did see Francois say if you don't pick what you buy, you have to buy their package, which contains a bunch of stuff that doesn't sell, and that is totally true, regardless of whether
yeah,
or not you pick your stuff or not. you have to buy an entire package deal regardless. Like just regardless, you get all of the stuff, even the stuff that doesn't sell. They kind of choose for you. You get
So
package
basically,
A, B, or C, and all of it has some stuff that probably won't sell for years.
they want to guarantee a way of shifting the stuff that doesn't move, and
Yeah.
that's the way they found out how to do it.
Uh,
So the stuff that they can't sell to the bigger stores because they're going, no, I've still got 4 boxes. What the hell do I want? I don't want any more of that. One pallet did me for 10 years. Why do I want to order anymore? I've still got half a pallet. So they're still starting extra stock as well. So they ship it out any way they can. Anyway. Because it's how you've got to make room for the new stock to come through. It's all through units sold, which is how business goes. Businesses only works through units sold. It doesn't matter if it's a 99-cent piece that's sold or a 299-cent or a $200 piece that's sold. As long as you're
yeah.
shifting enough units of that piece, everything works nicely. Problem is, you do end up with one section that is like, we've got to write that off somehow. How do we do that?
Yeah.
Well, we essentially sell all this off at cost to them and give them half good, half bad.
Right. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
break even and we make room, and the
Yeah.
new stock comes through.
However, I think their business model, they should really go back to the drawing board. What they should be doing is they should be doing press runs on their actual molds. So they should be doing press runs of 1,000 Space Marines, boxes or whatever the heck you want to call them. Like, they should be doing 1,000 of them and letting the stock get low, because then the scarcity goes up and people will buy the end stock of it. And by that point, you're already printing more. But they don't do that. I don't know exactly what their strategy is, but that's how I would run it. And I'm actually looking into that right now. I right now the online stuff is in its infancy, but I've already put up a separate account specifically to buy injection molding machines for PML to run my own range of models. Uh, and that's the way I'm going to run it.
Injection molded.
Yeah, yeah, because that's the way that Space Marines are
Yeah,
made. It's an
yeah.
injection molded. The sprue there is what the
It,
pins hit and
it,
pops it out of the
it
machine.
I'm sorry. I misspoke. I understand how. I know what it is. It's the fact that you're investing into it is what took me aback a little bit.
Well, I'm
It's
tired of people paying
incredibly
like
expensive.
$60 for little bits of plastic. We can make it for 10, and if we have no overhead,
Right, yes, you can,
you
but
know,
for an injection molded machine to the standards that Games Workshop actually have for when they want to use it is an incredibly large outlay of money for a single device. An
it's not a
incredibly.
I can
Which one's cheaper?
I could probably make a sprue of 4 goblin guys with
Hmm.
maybe 2 weapon options that you could put on them. I could
Yeah,
probably I can make that on a machine that costs me about uh 10 grand. And it can be
that's
made out
see,
of recycled, post-recycled
see,
plastic.
it's that jump up from 3 figures to 5 figures that makes a difference.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, they're an international company. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Yeah,
not going to compete with them,
uh,
but I'm just
that
saying when it
that
comes.
was that was more my point. Most
Yeah.
people nowadays are even fledgling the fledgling companies that I see starting up are using 3D printers as opposed to injection molded models. Now, don't get me wrong. Injection molding is, oh my god, please. I'm just going to, this has not been cleaned up in any way. Just look at the beauty of that thing. It is absolutely fucking gorgeous. It is
Yeah.
brilliant. And that is an injection molded model, ladies and gentlemen, and it'll be a long time before 3D printed could even think about coming close. However, as I said earlier, you can get a 3D printer that can get very close for 3 digits. To get this quality, it's 5 digits,
Yeah,
and
that's
that is a
true.
very big difference.
How
I it's oh man,
I
that
have
you
seen some really cool results though of people who are using some very exotic materials in resin 3D printers in order to make their own like injection molds that will last up to a couple thousand prints,
Well,
or a couple thousand presses. And that's kind of the way I'm going, is that way I can just reprint the mold and
so
have the
you're
same level of fidelity as, well, very
oh
close
nice.
to, that, the actual, pressure and the actual injection molding machines. But the machining required in those molds is, you need a you need the machine that costs you six figures to make the mold that costs you five figures to make your and the machine that costs you five. You know what
Yep.
I mean? So I'm trying to cut back all of that and essentially cut out the middleman so people can finally get little goblin guys on their table for less than a buck, or a buck or two, like at most.
Oh no, we learned that lesson long time ago. Do you remember something in probably some viewers might think, wow, that was a long time ago in history, called the Channel Tunnel when it was being dug, when it was being made,
Oh,
not right.
that was from the south of the UK into the rest of Europe, right?
Yeah, that's a that's a train track, so we can go
Yeah,
straight through from London to Paris.
underneath the sea,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, goes right
Wow.
under the water,
Yeah.
then pops back up again. Amazing feat of human ingenuity. But we rented the fucking drill because it was cheaper to rent it than buy our fucking own. We know how this
Yeah.
shit fucking works. We learned a long time ago. It's like, yeah,
Right.
you've got one. Can we borrow it if you give you this big chunk of money? We know it's like half what it's worth, but look, you've already got it. It's working. Can we borrow it for a bit? Because it's cheaper.
Right.
So yeah, it's the same. It's the same principle. If you can, it all trickles down to a degree. If you're the one who's put out the big cost, more people might actually start coming to you, going, "Can you print these off for us? Here's the molds." Because making the mold then is cheaper. Once you've got the mold, you just put the mold in the machine.
I
So you could actually,
suppose, yeah.
so you could actually help other people that way and go, "I'm going to take it into a printing business as opposed to a model sculpting business, if you know what I mean. Get other people's model, you
Yeah.
just print other people's models off, and you go,
Oh yeah. Well, that's one thing that
okay,
I've been
I get a
looking
cut.
around for. I don't yeah, go keep painting away. You've got
Yeah,
you've only got so much time.
I don't worry, I get distracted as I've given myself a caveat now. I'm only doing purples tonight, so it gives me a chance to look at the golds, reds, and the fur tomorrow. I've got one more purple to do, which is the bag on this side, which is what I'm going to start on now. I've got just over half an hour to do it, so I feel confident painting in that bag in half an hour.
Nice.
Uh, only just. Don't get me wrong, only just because we're still going to be continue talking. Which and Magpie me is just like, what? Yeah, shiny. Okay. Um, so
Twisted Nerves was talking about doing some mold making stuff, and the old silicone rotary
I'll
molding machines.
big it
Oh
up
my
there.
gosh. I That is a blast, and I've only seen that. I haven't
Oh
seen
wow,
it in
yeah.
real life, but I've only seen it just a couple of times where people are out there still doing spin cast metal models out there in the world. That is a
Wow.
tough way to do molding.
Well,
Um, but
I, w- I was extremely lucky. My mother worked in a blow molding factory when for basic like bottles of bleach and washing up liquids and things like that. But because of that, I got to go around on a tour and I got taught about the different types of moldings that were available. I don't remember them
oh,
all, but it's like, oh right, yeah, I remember that one from when I was still. I know, yeah, no, I forgot about that one. So it's been quite interesting relearning some of the molding techniques.
very nice.
But yes, some of the newer techniques are quite nice. But yeah, the spin molding is ridiculous. Where it's just, I'd put it this way: I'm outside that room while that's spinning, just in case. I'd rather have that big chunk of concrete in the way because if it's coming through that concrete, I never really stood a chance anyway.
The weight of vulcanized rubber and hot pewter coming your way is not worth it,
Yeah,
right?
no, thank you, no, thank you. I'll stand on the outside of that. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch through a nice thick bulletproof glass window. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I'm not
Hmm.
standing in the room while that thing's going. Not a chance. And even the blow molding places, I don't trust those ones because it's just compressing air and going. It's like, yeah, just a mini explosion pushing plastic. It doesn't sound too safe to me. Even if you are bolting metal around it, it still doesn't sound too safe for me. It's like, what do you do then once you just pressurize it into it and it just squirts out the other end a little bit and it's done? Yeah, injection molding still has its flaws, I think. Just a little bit too much pressure and big hot plastic coming basically like a flamethrower out the. No, you're all right. 3D 3D printing. What do you say that just stacks little bits up at a time,
Yeah, it
little tiny bit.
much more
Yeah, yeah,
controlled
yeah,
fashion, a
yeah,
bit more relaxing,
yeah. I think I'll
just
go
a
with
little
that one.
bit.
Yeah. I think we'll go down that route. Because don't get me wrong, elbow molding is by far superior. It does run a little bit more danger to it as well because essentially those are factory built machines. Those are factory machines. Those aren't in your house. Do as a hobby, do as a side project because you want to print one or two doors out or a little bit of trim and make things look nice. Those are full industrial machines.
Right, right.
Just so everyone's clear and on the same level here, because Bill's obviously thought about this. He's explained it all to us very concisely and give us a very good. However, he's nonchalantly brushing aside the size and scale of some of these things for us who are sat in our living room using our PC desks, just like you watching at home, as our paintings there. I'm making our own shivs so we can cut through hardboard. So just so we're all everybody understands, he's looking at industrial level machinery.
Oh, no, 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 it's not
To,
industrial level. Like, everything that I use here, I have a, laser cutter and engraver, which I'm working on some prototypes right now. This is one of them. This was a box that I made on my laser cutter and engraver
okay.
that this way I can stick my airbrush. I keep forgetting it's mirrored, but I can put my
Yeah.
thinner right in there, and I know it's thinner when I look at it. It's kind of dumb, but like I'm working on stuff like that on a laser
Well,
cutter and engraver
well,
that sits on a
that's a C
desktop.
that's a
And
CNC machine.
yeah, yeah,
Now
I,
they are essentially just the hand pyro burners controlled by a computer. That I understand somebody having in their house. Having something that superheats plastic that has already been heated, so it maintains pretty much its same compound, then highly pressure using high pressure shoots it into a mold, and some has to come out the other side, so there is somewhere for it to go, and then lets it set. And now these are metal molds or high density plastic, so that they don't melt when the hot plastic goes in.
right.
That that crap you don't just find in your cupboard.
Well,
The only place I've seen that stuff is you see this place called Warhammer World. Well,
yeah.
just nearby there's a big fuck off factory, right? And I mean, it's a big fuck off factory. Do you know what it makes? It makes these injection molded models things. Kind of get where it's like, yeah, this isn't. And as I
it's
said, it's like, wow, you're taking that step up, man.
well,
I'm not actually trying to take anything away from you. I'm actually trying to make people realize how grand and big the scale of this thing is and how adventurous it is. And well done to you for even. Wow,
I'm not
I'm
afraid.
slightly blown away, and it's like, wow, really?
I'm definitely not afraid of big machinery. My garage, instead of putting our vehicle in, we have a really small garage here, and instead of putting our vehicle in there, we keep it in the driveway because in my garage
No.
is a 4 foot by 8 foot metal CNC machine. Um, that I haven't, I don't really want to talk too much about because
Fair enough.
for a couple of
Reasons, that's
reasons,
fine.
but
That's fine. People
uh
have channels and people can do videos. Not
if
everyone
you're
is like
anywhere
me.
familiar with wormwood products,
Oh, no, no, shut up. Save it until the stream ends.
Okay.
There's half an hour to go, okay? Save it to
Okay.
the stream ends. Put it this way, I
But
am familiar with wormwood products.
I
I
mean,
don't have any, but I have looked. I have
I will
looked.
find a, if I have to, I will disassemble. If for some
No, you
reason
don't have
I
to.
find some windfall success in this, I will figure out a way to disassemble a industrial, like a legitimate for industrial scale uh plastic injection machine. I will bring it down to the basement. I'll put it up in here because down here we have the paint studio here. A in the room next to me is my screen printing shop where I print the PML t-shirts, and I'm hoping to do stuff for affiliates in the future, but I print the t-shirts.
See, that's a
Uh
nice dragon. That is a very nice
yeah,
dragon.
yeah, thank you. Um, and then upstairs is where I do stuff like make this is another like a brush rack. This is a
I
brush
shall
rack I've been
bring
working
you
on.
up a little larger so
Like
people can see.
so
Well,
it's
that's
got
actually a
like
multi-tool rack. That's
yeah,
right.
it's all kinds of crazy stuff. So we're working on things to make, you know, we're working on things to make just about everything. Honestly, I need to stop and start saving for retirement at some point, but I can't. It's an addiction at this
Well,
point.
you see, retirement happens when you've got enough money, and if you're making money, eventually you'll make money quicker to retire quicker. So if you make two or three more products, it wouldn't hurt, would it?
Right.
And
Right.
I'm assuming that's how the problem begins. Um,
Can you tell me a little bit, like, I've been trying to catch up. I've got so many hands and so many cookie jars. It's not even hands anymore. It's just fingers in cookie jars.
okay.
Can you tell me more about, like, how you got started? I know you said that this is kind of like this is your kind of your therapy session, but like
Oh
how
no, no,
when
no. When I say kind of, this is not kind of.
well, it is. Okay, it is your
Okay.
therapy, but like
Okay.
how what was
You
the
want to know
idea that
about
got lazy
lazy
mini
mini
painting
painting?
started?
Well, I'm not actually lazy for a start. As you notice, I do talk, ramble, and I can. You don't move like this if you're lazy. I'm just not necessarily always as focused. But I have a. It's been described as numerous ways, but I have a non-epileptic attack disorder. So at random times, occasionally, I can lose control of one, two, all of my limbs, and they will no longer function. They'll either lock themselves in a straight line or they will crunch themselves up. Particularly painful when my legs decide to crunch themselves up because it tries to draw me like a fucking bow.
Mm,
Then if my back decides to play along as well, that's just fun and games. And it can be for random periods of time. Now going through therapy, the therapist has said when I'm taking my time to focus and I'm doing this, because this is taking so much focus, I'm not thinking about the 97 bazillion other things that are going on in my life.
right, right.
So, and because I'm a father of three, I have a life going on around me. I have a partner, I have a family, I have friends. Things happen, so things interrupt within life.
Yeah,
And because they have no other way of trying to help me with this thing at the moment, they're sending me to therapy. Because let's be honest, they have not got a clue. They don't know, and neither do I. It's still happening. The medication is about the only thing that actually works.
sure.
The therapy may or may not work, but at least I'm getting models painted, so I'm glad.
Yeah,
But this is so as you're growing to a business at the moment. Mine is if it grows, it grows. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not there for that. It is there for
yeah,
me to at the moment it's there for me to as a therapy, and it has been for a couple of years. The initial start, however, was to go right. I started this when 25 years ago. I've not touched this for ages. I've got loads of stuff though, and it all needs painting.
yeah,
Let, let's start painting it and see how I progress each week and see if I improve and see if I got better. And obviously, after a couple of years, I did. Other things happened, which is why it took a slight change after the first year, and now it's more of a yeah, as I said, now it's therapy. Even though I'm painting more difficult models because my skills have improved throughout the years of practicing. So still showing my initial point of if you sit down and actually pick the fucking brush up, you'll get better. Stop whinging about it. Stop being a
Right.
bitch. Stop
Right.
complaining. Just pick the fucking brush up and practice. If it's not right, as I use BioStrip. What was the product you said you used to strip them off?
Oh, green, simple green.
Simple Green. One
Yeah.
of those two. Just dunk it in that thing,
Yeah.
leave it for a bit, scrub all the paint off, start again.
Yeah.
Practice. Pick the fucking brush up and do it. It's the only way
Yep.
you're gonna learn. It's the only way. I'm 40 years old and I started redid it again when about 37, 38. You can do it. You'll get better. I've gone from not being able to paint. Look, you all remember Dave? I've kept Dave from when I was a kid. That was one of my first ever army painters.
Oh, that's way better than mine.
Right?
I've got
Oh, wait a minute, wait a
uh
minute, wait a minute,
all
wait a
right.
minute. I'm
Let
there to
me
Tyrannid. And
That's
you're telling me,
that Tyrannid's really good though.
right, but
So
compare the
stop it
two,
with
and
yourself
you're
on
telling
that
me I've
one.
not got better.
The
That's what I mean.
Terminator, I can be like, yeah, a kid painted that. The Tyrannid, on the other hand, holy
That,
crap, that was
that's
some of
what I
your
mean.
first paints.
No,
Uh,
no, that was one of my first paints.
oh, okay, all right, that guy is. This is where you're at now, right?
This is more where I'm at now. That when I painted the Tyranids, that's what I grabbed the Tyrannid because
Jeez.
it's the only one that I've got reasonably complete, and it's not actually finished. It's just tabletop ready. 3 colors and a base. It's done. That was all. That's all I wanted out of it is to put it on the tabletop and know which one it was.
God, man.
Bitch, basic paint job, and by
I
that I mean slap chopped, dry brushed, done.
Well, I have to say this much. I'm really happy that you're out here painting and you're sharing that you're sharing your hobby with the world, and also your therapy time and the time that you use to kind of clear your head and center back to reality. I mean, the I don't mean to shill the business side
No,
of
no,
this
no.
as well.
Chill the fuck out of it. It works.
Oh,
Look, people, if
I
advertising
will
didn't work, they wouldn't
unashamedly
fucking advertise us to us. It
I will
works.
I will
I will
unashamedly shill because I would
chill
be
the fuck.
doing a disrespect to to my business as an
Go,
owner.
go.
But the uh when I come to sit down at the painting desk, I definitely can relate to some of the points that you're hitting on. The business aspect of it was because I saw that a lot of folks that were doing the YouTube thing or just streaming or like promoting hobby stuff in general, a lot of them had, they have other responsibilities. They're okay. Come on, focus with me here. So they have other responsibilities. Like you said, you're a dad of three.
Yeah.
You have life going on constantly around you, and yet you're still making 2 hours of your time go out to the world for folks to enjoy, and to engage in bringing new blood into the hobby, and to bring current blood some entertainment like that, and that's super admirable. And in this phase of life, I don't have that. What can I give as somebody who doesn't have those responsibilities yet? I can give my time. I can give the best of my brain that I can. I can give my brush. I can give my time, and I can give a business. Because I don't have 3 kids. I've got a wonderful significant
Oh,
other, but like those are the things that I can bring to this. And what you bring is something unique and special because it's you, and it's the way that you
I,
present as your time to unwind and your time to focus on your creative aspects. Um, and I think it's absolutely admirable. 3 kids, people. Are you hearing this?
oh no! Don't,
I,
wait, whoa, whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
couldn't
whoa! Wait a
imagine
minute.
one of my
Uh,
chaotic little crotch goblins running around inside this creation cave while I'm trying to
well,
do models. He's got
my
3 of them.
youngest, while we've been on stream, my youngest has been in here, said hello to me, and sat down and eaten a yogurt. I even responded.
Oh yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't know if anyone actually clocked me, just giving them a little,
yeah.
and that was it. A hello and be quiet, and
Well, they
that was it.
know
He just
they
came
know
and
it's a
sat
good
down because
time.
it's yeah. He
Yeah.
saw all this. He sees the screen. He knows Daddy's streaming and don't get involved. And he also knows not to come anywhere near this because if anything falls over, then Daddy's likely to shout, and Daddy shouts loud. Well, maybe not now because I was at a rock concert last night and I was shouting loud there. So I thought it was a little bit. Um, a big up Therapy for 30 years, by the way. Fucking awesome band and an Irish band. And I do have some
Ooh.
Irish. I do have some Irish viewers, and so you're thinking 3 kids, yeah? They're thinking, oh, that's fucking funny. We had that last weekend, and this is fucking families of 14 kids. I'm just going to change my headphones because of, as I said, this early on is, oh, I see, he's a lovely model. And just look,
This
he's
was
even managed to get
this
a
was one
fucking
of
eye in
my.
the middle of his head.
You,
I'm
you
just
were
going to quickly change my headphones because my Bluetooth are screaming at me that they're going to die any second. So I will be
it's
back
all
in a
good.
moment. I'm going to let Bill take over for a moment and explain this lovely, lovely thing to you.
Sure, sure. By the way, Twisted Nerves, thanks for the compliment about the racks. They're still kind of in the works, but yeah, thanks for the compliment. I really appreciate it. And I would love to go and see an Irish rock band. Like that sounds like the best time. But this was some of my first work as a painter, and this was actually some of my more detailed stuff. I'll show you. This guy was one of my first as well. This like hell brute. This was from one of the first box set things that I got into painting with, and it's just literally it's just all of the paint colors that I could afford at the time, and we just kind of went with it. But this was the first kind of PML stuff that I did. So and now I'm working at a totally kind of different level, but just because Laz was showing off his some of his first models, I thought, it's always I kept these because I was like, man, I gotta show the world at some point, just or even myself where I came from, and how much I've progressed, and just like Dave, I love it. Dave the Terminator, and especially that sculpt, that super squatty Terminator. And now I'm doing stuff like this guy here is a I'm working on I want to do some what are they called, Sons of the Hydra, or the uh,
Legion.
Hydra Legion,
Alpha.
uh, Alpha
Is,
Legion. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
sorry,
This is
just came
actually
back in
a
time.
like a color shift. I'm working with color shift paints now, and
Oh,
you can
nice.
see you
It's
can see
like a
there's blue and
pearlescent
purple.
effect.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
that's
blue in
nice.
some places, purple in another, and when you
Oh,
actually
that
see
is
it
nice.
in real life, it's actually kind of cool. But I mean, we're doing all kinds of crazy stuff, with
Now,
the
what would happen if you put a like something of the more like a light speed paint over that, something with a thin glaze
I
consistency? Could you
I have no
possibly
clue.
get a base blue and then have a pink orange pearlescent effect on it with a slight metallic underneath? And
It
basically,
might,
if you
but
think like a cherry candy red and green car, when it's sprayed like that, could you go for that effect?
yeah, I'm not sure. So the color shift, as I understand it, and I'll kind of give this guy a little bit more. Um,
See,
the
that's
color the
that's what
color
I'm missing.
shift stuff that I've been working with out of Turbo Geek, their color shift stuff. What they rely on is inside of the pigment, the actual powder itself. It's a crystal, and it's in the shape of a pyramid shape. And when you spray it out of an airbrush or you try to paint this on, those pyramid shapes will land in such a way where they will only display purple or blue. And then
Right? Yeah.
if you were to paint over that, though, you're essentially masking out the one side of the triangle that's purple or blue. So you may not end up with, and they're microscopic. They're like nanometer size little pyramids.
So a single pigment might be too big to. It might cover 7 or 8 of them, or even hundreds.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
I haven't really experimented. I did do some abyssal dwarfs with this, and any kind of paint you put over this kind of kills it.
right.
Uh,
So what about basing?
well, that's so it's black base coat,
Okay.
and then you put this over it. and you get that effect. You do it over white, and it shows like pink and like a purple. It's totally different if you put it over white, but it's either
So
black or white you put this on, and it's like an automotive. It's almost like an automotive product. You pick one or the other.
no,
So that's kind of cool.
you see, they always say that because they put rules in place because they don't like rules are made to be broken. Experiment,
Oh yeah, for sure, for
experiment.
sure.
Go on, spray it Lamentos yellow, and then try it.
But these were some of my first models, by the way. I don't know if you caught
Oh,
that with your earbuds, but like these were
I
some of
saw it
my
go up. I didn't quite catch it because it shut out some. Hence
yeah.
why I've got the
These were my first paint jobs out of just dinking around with 40K stuff. Uh,
nice.
it was literally every paint color that I could afford to buy before I left the game store.
What?
And a couple that were just Apple Barrel or like a very generic hobby store brand.
What?
So
What?
you can go and check the other. Well, here I'll show you the
I
other
was gonna
guys
say what model?
real
What?
quick.
What? Oh,
This is
so
the
that's Dark. Is that Dark Vengeance?
uh, what's that?
Is that Dark Vengeance? Is that the
No, it's
one from Dark Vengeance?
no, this is the very very old Hellbrute model from Dark Vengeance. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Dark
yeah,
Vengeance. Yeah,
yeah.
this was the Dark Vengeance Hellbrute. Uh,
Oh, yeah, I remember that one because my
yeah,
friend got it. That was a nice model. It was the first. It was the first chance you actually got to get a Hellbrute. It was the only way to get it for a good few years.
yeah.
It was the
Now
only.
that
It's a
just a
nice.
couple. Since you were showing yours, I may as well show mine.
I, if we just go off to hand, I've got yeah, I have too many to think of. I've actually got the army that's ready to face the misses, just pretty much on two trays underneath my desk, ready to pull out and go right. Let's deploy because I want to play. Her entire army just in one box. I could easily get it out, not a problem. I've just got to finish off a few more of the von Rein's Leapers. They just need a quick like don't fucking show the thing while Bill's up there. No one can see you, knobhead. Um, so yeah, I just need to finish a few from Ryan's Leapers. Essentially, they need them.
What did you use for the skin color? It like turns an orange towards their legs. That's really
Right,
cool.
right. Now this is very controversial within the community.
Ooh.
Right, nobody seems to like Army Painter Speed Paint 1.0 because of a reactivation flaw when you
Ooh.
go over it again. Now, the way I saw it was cool. I don't have to make all the fucking midtones. It's going to do it for me because it's going to reactivate and blend it all for me, which is how I've
Ooh.
managed to go from that to that with a dry brush. And it was
That's hot.
just ivory.
I like it. I
It,
like it.
I used the flaw of the paint to my advantage.
So then, and now they've changed it now, right? This
Yep. So
2.0 stuff. What is?
there's no reactivation. You go over it and you'll just get a layer of ivory. There's no reactivation of the paint
Huh.
because
Huh.
people were complaining because it was reactivating, and I'm like, well, that's a fucking good idea. For if you're gonna slap chop
Right.
something, the whole point of slap chopping is to dry brush it to bring out the detail. That's the basis of slap chopping. Whether you do it with the black base, so you know where to paint, or whether you use it for the fucking color that goes over the top. But it
Right.
can give depth, and it can give light, and it gives the same effect as the slap chop that you put under it in the fucking first place, which is why you've done it. And it can give different effects depending on how much goes through each area. So if you get a little bit more of a splodge in the area, that's how some areas end. Well, in this case, I was using the airbrush and it got overlaid a little bit of red. That's why that's bright orange. But you do get a
Honestly, I think that is really cool. That is one of those we don't make mistakes, we make happy accidents. That
exactly.
orange on that yellow is that is really
Well,
nice.
I've got to dry brush that to see how it works out because the rest of them are more like this. So
Okay.
it's more yellowy. That was I was spraying squig hoppers, practicing
Mm.
with my airbrush, and my wall that I put there wasn't quite big enough, and these were behind.
If
So
you ask my vote, I think you should keep it. I
I, I,
really
int-
think you should keep it.
I do intend to, otherwise they would have been bio stripped down by now and started again. But I looked at it and probably the same thing you thought. I was like, actually, that's not quite a nice little.
I like it. I
That's
really
like,
like that.
yeah, and because it's done with the same speed paints, it should work out in the same effect.
Right.
So it should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, obviously, rather nice, and it should look at least make him stand out against all the other Von Ryan's leapers because I've got 12 of the bloody things. I know that it's just too many Von Ryan's leapers. You don't have to tell me that, but I've now got 12 of them. So,
Nice.
but yeah, it's worked out as a quite nice little accident. At this point, I do believe I have done all the little purples on this fellow. So, just have a quick talk through what's going to happen on the next time when I do Solan. The fur, which is going to be done mostly with Reichland flesh and Wraithbone as a highlight because it is kind of a browny. It's not quite white. It's almost a dirty white colour for his fur.
Yeah.
So that's going to be all through his tail and around the most of his face. However, surrounding his head and all around his legs and everywhere there is a tassel or there is somewhere that this ostentatious motherfucker could embellish himself with gold, there is gold. And if there is not gold, then it is a red ruby of some description. So
Nice.
on his head, he's got at least 4 that I've seen on the reference picture, and he goes 1, 2, 3, and 1 just above. And he's also got his eyes in there, and then rubies all over the place. So the next one is going to take 2 fucking hours for me just to try and focus on 1 ruby. So we'll look forward to that, ladies and gentlemen, and other hobbyists that are looking just as crazy as I am. And thank you, every single one of you, every time you turn up. I'm not going to give the YouTube spiel. Fuck it. It's up to you. I just thank you all for turning up, and especially for tonight. I thank Bill because this is such a rare opportunity that we actually get to speak to each other. We've been communicating via messages for fucking months now. I think it's been actually having quite good chats, but this is the first time we've actually been able to talk to each other, and it's been absolutely great. And hopefully, it becomes either I become a regular on his, or he becomes a regular on mine, or both, or who knows. But I look forward to seeing you all
Back
again.
and forth, man. I'd love to chat with you more.
Is there anything
Yeah.
you would like to leave the ladies and gentlemen with, Bill?
Keep following Lazy Mini Painting because this is the future of our hobby here, folks. This is really what it is. Bringing out great painting to the masses and sharing our hobby in unique and interesting ways. So keep telling your friends about Lazy Mini Painting.
And to end it, I'm just going to say that's the nicest way I've ever been called a knobhead in my life. So drive safe, everyone.